started here on the Ultraviolence difficulty in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
So Dime's not actually going to take the fastest route for E1M1 immediately because we really want this Mega Armor right here. Mega Armor provides 50% protection as long as it's active, and there are a lot of deadly enemies in Episode 1. Ironically, out of the original 3 episodes, this is the most deadly of the 3 because there are lots of shotgunners and zombie men. Let's talk about movement for just a bit. So in Classic Doom, whenever you're strafe running, moving both forward or back and to the side, you actually get a 28% increase in speed normally with SR 40, and with additional inputs you can actually increase that to 41% increased speed, but that also locks your turning angle, but that's still useful for tricks here and there. So I'm using some very careful movement manipulation to be able to get into this exit right here. There's an imp that likes to stay, so he's pretty annoying. But we come up to E1M3. The Toxin Refinery is one of the most notorious levels in the entire run because there are tons of shotgunners everywhere. They do hit scan damage, which means if they decide to shoot you, you can't do anything unless you're behind a wall, and if you get shot, there's nothing you can do. And shotgunners can roll up to 45 damage if you don't have any armor, so they are incredibly deadly, being able to kill you in 2 to 3 shots. So Dime just being able to very carefully manipulate his way around a bunch of enemies and prioritize killing shotgunners whenever possible because we can dodge the imps, and the zombie men are not a huge threat, so it's okay. But Dime getting through this with a lot of health, so this is actually looking really good.
So far, so good. This is, yeah, one of the hardest levels in the entire set. So just looking forward to get through it.
So a little bit of extra health for safety. So E1M4 has a big skip right here. So using that SR50 movement I was talking about earlier, we're going to make a jump that's definitely... The developers kind of found it after it was released, but if you make this ledge jump right here, you can actually skip needing to get the blue key and do the mace. I can just go straight to the yellow key. First try, and that's great. And we can just go straight to the exit here. So E1M5, also another very difficult level. We're going to try and do a little bit of movement manipulation here. Enemies, they can choose to aggro on sound or by sight, so we choose not to fire at the very beginning so we can make sure enemies are in a favorable position. We can just move right past them, so it's very nice. We're going to get the rocket launcher right here and an extra mega armor. Rockets are a very big source of damage throughout pretty much all Doom games, but especially Classic Doom. And rockets are very sparse in Doom 1, so we want to make the most of everything. So very nice pacifist room right here, so we can avoid waking up a bunch of monster closets. You going to get the invisibility?
Nope.
Nope. We're just going to tank it right through then. So the nice flexible thing about Doom runs is that you can do some things for safety if you need to, or you can skip them if you feel confident enough or have enough supplies and can save the time that way. And that's the fun part about Doom speedrunning, is that there are a lot of strats available.
And it's always difficult to manage that in marathon runs because it's only a single attempt and you're not really too sure what type of damage rolls and such. So it's some creativity and just knowing additional routing through the levels and extra health if needed or required.
All right, big trick right here. So this shotgunner is going to help us out. Normally you'd be locked in this room for 30 seconds, but if you just let the door just kind of bonk on his head, it politely goes back up, and it's like, okay, I'll let you out. So we stay out of there for 30 seconds. So it's a really, really nice time save, but it's also a big run killer when doing episode runs.
Gonna grab 10 rockets here, and all of the setup for the routing on the rockets is for the final boss of the first episode. So we want to have pretty much exactly 10-11 for the 2 Barons.
Yeah, there is a newer route developed. If you're really risky, you can do a very interesting glitch on E1M8. And you can skip this trip to rockets as well, but it's very not safe for marathon runs. This is also nice too because we do get another soul sphere for an extra 100 health and 10 extra rockets, so it's just it's nice safety and it's very consistent that way. This last room is pretty scary though, because a bunch of monster closets are going to open, and if you do not get into the exit room ASAP, you will get swarmed and you will probably die.
So yeah, we'll see if we can get this, get the shotgunner, and that pinky is actually...
That worked out really nicely. Nice.
I don't even understand how that worked out, but you know, I'll take it.
So we could talk about randomness because there's a lot of randomness, like you saw right there. Enemy damage is random to an extent. Enemy movement is random. Your own damage is random. Accuracy on your shells and bullet-based weapons is random. This game is the epitome of random, and knowing how to handle different situations is really what separates the starting and good Doom speedrunners from the really great Doom speedrunners.
Yeah, we're just going to blast through these corridors. So this is Computer Station. The majority of Episode 1 was designed by John Romero, with the exception of some help on E1M4 and E1M8. But he had a mapping philosophy of working on the second through, I guess, the second through the 8th maps first, and then going back to the first map and thinking, oh, all of the mapping tricks and knowledge that he utilized for that, he takes back for the opener, because you want that to be, you know, your best showcase.
Yeah, he had a lot of really neat design rules that you can read up on, like changing textures whenever you're changing like floor heights and such. It's really well documented how well he made his maps. So we're trying not to fire right here so we can avoid more monster closets. I'm getting some really good luck. Enemies not blocking him on the way here. The chain gun is really, really useful through all of E1 just because enemies have a lot of hit stun. There's a high chance most enemies in E1 will kind of go into that flinch animation and not do anything whenever they get hit by weapons, and the chain gun's a good way to give them the cha-cha and just make them stay in place. So that brings us to E1M8 right here. So we've got the Bruiser Brothers, as they are lovingly called right here. We're going to grab a safety Soul Sphere just in case, because it's very possible to blast yourself in the face with a rocket, which is 128 damage.
And I'm very good at that.
Yes,
I'm very good at
this is why we call them dime face rockets. So we're going to fire 3 and 4, and then we're going to go in the middle. The last one, yeah, there he goes. So very nice. So we're actually going to try and get this one SR50 jump if we can skip right here. Very nice. Jump right to the end. And we actually need to end the level below 10 health in order to trigger the exit. So Dime had one extra rocket on hand so he could face rocket himself on purpose and get himself down to 1% instantly. So very nice E1 right there.
I'm glad there's a case of like face rockets where it's like acceptable to do that instead of having everyone just make fun of you. I don't know. Get sad after a while.
No, you only get sad if you mess up on Compound's death exit in Plutonia. That's when you can get made fun of. So now we're moving into E2 right here. So the remaining maps in the game were designed by Sandy Peterson instead, with a very different mapping style. I think the developers themselves said his maps were definitely uglier than John's, but no less fun to play.
But Sandy was brought on, it was like approximately 10 weeks into the release of Doom 1, and Sandy was given like the lion's share of the maps to work on. I think 19 maps, which that's a massive amount for a single
19
person.
in 10 weeks. That's a lot of work. So we have one really cool trick coming up right here. We're going to get this plasma gun first. Plasma is very useful. You normally have to go around like a maze, but we can just jump straight to the exit with an SR50.
And there is a convenient backup strat for the previous map, which is there's a switch that's above you, and Doom works on like a rudimentary 3D. Some people will call it 2.5D, but it's, you know, it's early 3D. Projectiles can, you know, go above you. They have like a Z coordinate.
Yeah, they have like a Z offset, but it's not true 3D, and that kind of shows if you try and jump over a monster, you can't actually jump over them. They have infinite height. So this map's really all about movement right here. This is actually like one of the coolest maps for me in terms of like feel. Because E2, you've teleported from Phobos to Deimos, and you see like the bases transform from like all the technology into more like hellish architecture, and that it really showcases right here, especially in this room.
Yeah, just that slow transition, and definitely the first Doom works with the fire and brimstone sort of hell, but tomorrow in Doom 64 it's kind of interesting. There'll be it's almost a lot of lightning and purple starry skies, so there's it's just cool to see the different design philosophies behind, you know, the same concept.
I always thought you just visited a different part of hell every time. So we're going to try and not wake up these two barons right here. They're these things called line defs. They're basically triggers on the ground that you can step over, you can activate. So we very carefully avoided one so that two barons wouldn't come and try and block us. So there are some good trigger skips due to how the movement works in classic Doom games. It's not so much smooth movement. It's more like warping from frame to frame. So you can be on one side of a line def on one tick, and then on the very next tick you're on the other end if you're just right, and you just basically skip over it. So speaking of very fast movement, we have a really cool trick called a Void Glide in this level. You normally can't do much from out of bounds in this game if you manage to get out of bounds, but we're going to go ahead and get out of bounds. So Dime's going to set up right here in this corner. He's going to do momentum preservation by turning runoff. He got that really quick, and he's going to use this rocket boost to just push him right out of bounds. Now, there actually is a second part to this. He needs to touch the seam of the exit switch and the boundary, so I'm going to give him some quiet just so he can have the sound cue.
Oh, it went past it, actually. Very slightly.
Yeah, if you're too far to the left, you'll hear nothing, and if you're too far to the right, you'll hear the sound. Very nice. That was still a pretty fast exit. But we end up going from one trick straight into another trick. So this has our first instance of rocket jump. So there's no actual jumping because we don't have a Z-axis. But we can have a rock explosion push us really, really fast using this invulnerability. So Dime's going to set up right here. And he's got a really cool setup, and hopefully he'll get it first try right here. Beautiful first try rocket jump. Those are not easy to do. Because if you are not fast, the pinkies behind you catch up, and they just absolutely block you. Anyways, here's the Cyber. We have a bunch of cell ammo. Cyber demons and spider demons they have immunity to rocket splash damage. So the rocket launcher is a lot less effective. So that's why we stored up a whole bunch of plasma right here. So we're just gonna blast them. We didn't get very good damage rolls right there. We can finish them off with a rocket launcher, and take a phase rocket while we're at it. Good job, Dime. And that is episode 2 right there. So, off from Deimos into Hell. This level's notorious for just... I think this is probably one of my least favorite Sandy Peterson maps, to be honest, just because of how unequipped you really are.
And I hate this part of the speedrun right.
Yeah, that's pretty typical.
You got me. You got me.
Like, that's understandable. The Cacos just wanted to give you a hug. But they have to wait until Doom 64 when they get arms, so...
Yeah, a big bitey hug.
And then they're just, like, not even there that time. Yeah. Doom randomness in a nutshell. So we have all these pinkies right here. So the shotgun, it actually fires 7 pellets, and each of them can do 5, 10, or 15 damage, I believe. We want to try and use those pellets to kill the pinkies in 2, but 3 is generally more common. And we have 8 imps in this room. So we're going to try and kill most of them, and then try and sneak past the rest. I think you got past 1.
So Shock Blast has an IL showcase that they'll be doing later in the weekend. And just an interesting fact on E3 M1 there is, like, say, the IL strategy for going through those hallways is you can skip 2 pinkies. But it's obviously very difficult, and just sorry, IL means individual level speedrun. But you might see some of that in Shock Blast run.
So we're gonna actually pick up a few more things here. So we're gonna get the blue key. We're gonna take another way out to get another mega armor for some extra protection. But we're hopefully not gonna get blocked by an enemy due to the infinite height. Speak of the devil right there. At least he lets you through. So we're gonna jump into the secret area right here. Grab the BFG of the episode. It's a very situational weapon, but it's very, very good when used properly. And thankfully, the way Doom 1 levels are designed, it's pretty easy to get good mileage out of it. So we can talk about that later. Yeah. House of Pain has a lot of really weird things going on in terms of movement. So coming up, we're going to have a key bump. This is going to be our first instance of that. We're actually going to pick up a key by tagging a wall. And the way that basically works is that the game does checks in a weird order. It basically, if you move to a place, it'll check if you can pick an item before it checks if the movement is actually valid. So we're actually going to use a very specific SR50 movement right here to be able to pick up a key right through the wall using this lineup. Very nice first try. And you have to do that one quick as well because there were a bunch of imps in that hallway behind us, and they will completely interfere with the setup, and they have ended many runs for Doom Speedrunners.
And it might have been like a little difficult to tell because just things go quickly, but I did shoot a single plasma shot before that imp hallway to manipulate them further back to provide me just more time to get that key grab.
Yeah, monsters, the movement is very random, but they generally try and move to your current position, so you can use that to your advantage, especially on Wake Up. Also, say hi to the Berserk. If you've ever wanted to fish demons, well, here, Doom's your game.
Here, bye, Berserk.
Also, E3M6 has our favorite texture in the game in spades. This is fire blue, as we can see. It is the destroyer of streams. So all of you watching at home on Twitch, I hope you love having your bitrate dropping like a rock.
Maybe that's why we didn't have a dev, though, is we just like asked them 10 questions about Fire Blue, and I don't know.
Would even any of them be as qualified to use it, to answer it?
Maybe
Okay.
Kevin Cloud, if they're here?
Oh yeah, Kevin could. Kevin Cloud being one of the original artists for id Software during the Doom era. Did a lot of work with Adrian Carmack on the art. They did a great job. All right, so we got a BFG use right up here. So the BFG has two components to it. We have the giant green ball, which does anywhere from 100 to 800 damage. And then after that, it gets a little more complicated. A bunch of invisible tracers will fire from Doom Guy's current position at the angle the ball was fired. And these tracers can do several thousand damage. But they kind of fire in a wide cone. So you either want to use them for a large group, or you just find a giant enemy and then stare him down as hard as possible. I wish that's how you won staring contests in real life.
And it's also why you'll see, like in mini demos and such, players like kind of ignore the main projectile of the BFG and just fire it against a wall and then use the tracers because they do thousands of damage.
Also, this level's completely broken by SR50 right here. We would normally have to raise a bunch of bridges, but we're just going to jump straight to the exit. This one's a little scary, though, because if you go too far on this jump, you actually soft lock since you can't get out. But Dime did that perfectly right there. So we're going to showcase the real power of the BFG. So we've got the Spider Mastermind right here. So there's the Spider Mastermind. Or should I say there was the Spider Mastermind. And with that, we go into E4, the expansion episode, and this is by far the hardest episode to run. Anybody who's played E4 M1 up to this point on Ultraviolence probably had a few words to say about this map. Like, in terms of supplies, you have a green armor, a few armor bonuses, and 8% health, I think, and that is it. That is all you get, and there are several barons and tons of shotgunners. We're going to grab this key through the wall, hopefully. You have to do it with SR50 speed, so that skips having to go into the main building, which is really nice. But enemies just teleport in from everywhere. This map is, it's the bane of us when we do full game runs with how late it is in the run.
I just pressed the switch for the secret 9-inch nail secret, but we gotta go fast, so
yeah, you don't get to see
we
that.
can't check it out.
I think that's the second line def skip you've done on an exit. All right, so we will do a really cool BFG grab right here. We're going to pick up a BFG through a wall. This has actually been known for quite a while. I think like 1994. Or, well, no, this map set came out in 95, so it was like 96. But Dime's going to just pick up this BFG straight through a wall.
Yoink.
And then from here we can actually skip this blue bar and just jump straight to the end of the map. But it's a little scary because the Cacodemons get in the way, and we have to be careful not to get blasted by a Cyber Demon that you didn't see. Oh, that was scary. All right, speaking of getting to the end quick, we have another rocket jump right here. This one's a little trickier because we're actually going to do this rocket jump off of a lost soul. Doing something off of a moving target is not easy. And sometimes that happens where the Spectre decides to block you.
No, no. Let's try again.
Yeah, this is why Dime also made a safety save at the very beginning. Very nice. Third try's fine. Yeah, just in case like something was like the setup was really bad and it wasn't recoverable, Dime at least had some safety saves, so it was fine. And then E4, M4 is kind of like your break map. It just exists. You can get your health back, enjoy the nice bright white textures.
Yeah, and by this point in id Software, the team also had American McGee, Jay Wilbur, Dave Taylor.
Yeah, by the time they made this expansion set, we also had John Anderson helping out. And
Tim Willits, almost forgot.
Tim Willits, Sean Green. We can talk a little bit about source ports. Dime's actually playing Doom on a source port right now. Source ports are basically like modified executables and engines that make it easier to run the game on modern operating systems while adding quality of life features. So he's playing on Crispy Doom, which is really, really handy. I play on DSDA Doom myself, both of them being source port compatible with old demos and such. So competitive Doom speedrunning relies on recording demos usually. And these demos can be played back. They're basically input files. And that's how like the competition was standardized. Nice jump across right there. So he's going to get this Soul Sphere. So normally you would have to go and get a key, but why would you bother going to get a key when you can just jump out this nice big window? If the enemies will let you. Infinite height in progress right there.
So my health might look high, but this is actually like a problematic situation. So
yeah, this is unironically the most difficult level in the entire run. For E4M6 has the most difficult Cyber Demon in the entire like classic official series. So we're gonna do this really tricky jump. There's a Spectre in the way. Yeah, that was awful luck all around. But this map is deadly all the way up to the Cyber Demon. Then the Cyber Demon fight turns it up to 10. So thankfully there's a lot of cells we can refill on right here. So we're going to jump to this teleporter. The gimmick of the map is that whichever side you enter the teleporter from, you teleport to that side of the map. We did that, and then we jumped all the way to the other side, and we skipped about 80% of the level. So once we grab this key coming up right over here, the Cyber Demon closet towards the exit is going to open up, and we need to kill the Cyber Demon in order to open the bars that take us out. Now, like I said, this is the most difficult Cyber Demon fight in the entire game, because at this HP with no armor, Cyber Demon rockets will instantly one-shot us if it's a direct hit, and splash damage is a very real possibility with how small the room is. This is E4M6 in a nutshell. This is Episode 4 runs in a nutshell, and this is also full game runs in a nutshell. And unfortunately, because we actually need to flip a switch to end the level, basically a double KOing is not an option. That was some really terrible splash damage. I do like the crunch sound when you end up getting jibbed like that, though. Oh, the double KO.
okay, breathe for a second.
See, we were joking in practice that he used up all his luck on the practice run when he killed him first try.
Okay, let's get rid of this Gecko. No.
There is something like to the right of you. They are mean. There we go. I think he paid us back for all of our games on quick runs.
I think so too. Other than that, it's really been a very good run, but the Cyber Demon terrifies me. There's just very little room to deal with the splash damage, and I don't know. I was feeling stiff dodging that Cyber.
Yep.
Nerves.
Well, don't worry. You got this easy jump coming up right here. So we have to do one more SR50 trick right here. If we line up on a very specific pixel, we can jump straight to the exit if we don't get it blocked. Very nice. So that you can actually push the exit switch while it's still on the floor because of the infinite height thing. So that actually brings us to the last map of the entire run. So this has been going by real quick. So thankfully, it's actually a pretty easy level overall. The only tricky thing is being a rocket jump towards the end and navigating these hallways with some barons. So Dime taking some safety health right here. It's a good call. Just having the extra safety, extra ammo is really nice. There is one more soul sphere over here, so health is not a problem. That is a lot of shotgunners there. I've never seen 4 of them group up on that side before. All right, one more rocket jump.
Final trick.
Very nice, first try. So we're going to grab some extra ammo right here. Here is another Spider Mastermind, and, well, we got to do more than the last one did. So time is going to be when we jump into the center right here, exiting the map. So we're going to hopefully be able to do it from this pillar here. And that's time.
GG.
Great run.
Thank you. Oh, it went very, very smoothly until E4M6, but like if we were to rank maps by difficulty, E4M6 ranks #1.
It's absolutely the top.
Toxin Refinery ranks a little bit lower, but no, that was fun. It was really great to do another run at Quakecon and to have a lively audience who hopefully enjoyed themselves, but it's not going to be just me. There's actual modern games in this modern speedrun thing. So
I know, right?
we'll have Doom 2016 coming
100%,
tonight,
yeah, with
so.
Rytro. So y'all excited for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely want to see that. And if you want to see more classic Doom speedrunning, we'll have Doom 64 tomorrow and Saturday. So y'all should be excited for
Yeah,
that.
switching places. Zelo in this chair and me in that chair. So.
Also, poor Daisy.
Poor Daisy. Agreed. All right, everyone, enjoy your QuakeCon 2024. I'm out.